Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that might just turn your entire career strategy upside down. We are going to look into why our frantic, endless race to acquire technical skills might actually be blinding us to a much, much deeper issue, a cognitive crisis. Look around, right? There's this overwhelming low level of hum of anxiety that we're all constantly falling behind the technology curve. We feel this immense pressure to endlessly adapt just to stay relevant. But what if we're completely misdiagnosing the problem? We are constantly bombarded by this mandate to master the newest technical tools before we become obsolete. You hear it literally everywhere. Learn AI, learn prompt engineering, learn cloud, upskill before the machine gets there first. It creates this exhausting treadmill for anyone trying to build a career right now. The dominant narrative out there is basically, if you don't get that latest certification and constantly reskill, well, you're just going to be replaced by an algorithm. But this raises a really profound paradox for modern knowledge workers. You see, we have these incredibly credentialed professionals who can pass absolutely every technical exam thrown at them. But put them in a complex, unpredictable situation, they struggle. They struggle to read the room, to hold ambiguity, or to think 3 steps ahead. So focusing on exactly what specific technical skills we're missing, that's entirely the wrong framing. The real question we need to be asking ourselves is, what kind of thinking are we actually missing? Think about it. We live in the most sophisticated information infrastructure in human history. Historically, our biggest problem was scarcity, right? We just didn't have enough information to make good decisions. Today, we've solved that spectacularly. Anyone with a smartphone has access to the world's knowledge. But here's the catch. Having information and rapid intelligence is not the same thing as having deep understanding and wisdom. Intelligence is about processing speed, connecting the data points. Wisdom, on the other hand, is about knowing which of those data points actually matter. And for the last 30 years, we've been so hyper-focused on processing data quickly that we've allowed our capacity for true understanding and deep wisdom to just quietly wither away. To really see how this philosophical shift plays out in physiological reality, we have to look at some deeply alarming research by neuroscientist Dr. Gloria Mark. Now, she didn't just send out a generic survey asking people how distracted they felt. No, she physically embedded herself in workplaces to meticulously measure, literally with a stopwatch, exactly how long knowledge workers actually sustain their focus on a single screen before switching tasks. And the results? They brilliantly and honestly terrifically illustrate this crisis. Back in 2004, Dr. Mark found we could hold our focus for roughly 2.5 minutes, which, let's be real, was already pretty short. But by the early 2020s, the average worker's sustained attention plummeted to a mere 47 seconds. Just let that sink in for a moment. 47 seconds. Our focus hasn't just slipped a little bit. It has been absolutely shattered by this constant barrage of open tabs, Slack pings, urgent emails, and push notifications. We are rarely giving our brains even 1 full minute to process a complex thought. And this massive drop isn't just a minor annoyance. It carries a severe physical cost. As our attention windows shrink, our perceived stress doesn't just stay flat, it rises proportionally. It literally spikes our heart rates. Our brains are being forced to constantly switch gears, and that triggers the neural circuitry meant to respond to sudden novelty and threats. All the while, it's starving the parts of our brain that govern sustained, goal-directed focus. We're essentially spending our entire workdays in the state of low-grade fight or flight. It's incredibly telling, isn't it, that Oxford Dictionary actually named brain rot their word of the year for 2024. It perfectly captures the heavy toll of our infinite scroll culture. Because these environments, the endless notifications, the rapid-fire outrage cycles, they're not neutral. They actively exploit the exact same dopaminergic circuits our ancestors used to detect danger. This creates a vicious loop where sustained focus actually starts to feel uncomfortable. We literally condition ourselves to crave the next digital distraction just to soothe the anxiety created by the last one. But what's really crucial to realize here is that this is not your personal failure. This is a systemic design choice. We spend so much time beating ourselves up, blaming ourselves for a lack of discipline. But the economic systems and the platforms we use every single day, they are actively designed to reward fragmented reaction over sustained reflection, simply because fragmented attention is highly monetizable. We've built entire organizations that measure everything: speed, output, reaction time, except for the actual quality of the thinking that produces those results. And now AI is aggressively accelerating this problem. There is this razor-thin, incredibly dangerous margin between using a tool as a thinking partner versus using it as a thinking replacement. When AI acts as a thinking partner, it challenges your reasoning, it surfaces your blind spots, and most importantly, it hands the judgment back to you. Your role remains completely active. But when it shifts into being a replacement, AI quietly simulates wisdom. We just delegate the judgment entirely and blindly execute whatever output it gives us. The real danger here isn't the AI tool itself. The danger is this silent, highly comfortable drift into complacency. It's a lot like a skilled manipulator. AI systems gradually erode our confidence in our own judgment. First, the AI fluently simulates wisdom. It says the exact right thing in the perfect tone with absolute confidence. And because of that fluency, trust starts to build. Then, our internal defenses quietly dissolve. And finally, the most dangerous step of all occurs. That critical human pause completely disappears. We stop pausing to ask ourselves if we actually agree with the solution. A good manipulator doesn't overpower your judgment. They just make you feel like you don't even need it anymore. So we are running in the exact wrong direction by trying to fix this systemic cognitive drain with more technical upskilling and more certifications. We just keep telling people to learn more, move faster, go get more credentials. We're treating the issue as if it's simply a knowledge deficit. But as we all know, a wrong diagnosis inevitably produces wrong solutions. And the data coming from the very organizations tracking the future of work proves without a doubt that we are solving for the wrong variable. Just look at the numbers. Data from McKinsey reveals that a massive 40% of executives report workforce shortages, specifically in critical thinking and problem structuring. Not in cloud computing, not in cybersecurity, critical thinking. This should be a massive wake-up call for all of us. When executives look at their teams today, their primary concern isn't that their employees don't know how to use the software. It's that they literally cannot think clearly under complexity. And the World Economic Forum's 2025 report completely backs this up. It reveals that analytical thinking is now deemed essential by 7 out of 10 employers, completely overshadowing pure technical abilities. Think about that for a second. Analytical thinking isn't some technical skill you can just go learn in a weekend coding bootcamp, right? It is a foundational cognitive capability, and it has become the single most sought-after trait on the global market right now. So the ultimate takeaway here is this. Our greatest modern deficit lies in our capacity to apply and synthesize knowledge under complexity. The crisis is absolutely not in what people know. We have more access to knowledge today than any humans ever before. The actual crisis is in what people can do with what they know. Competing with machines on pure processing speed, that's a losing battle. The machine is always going to process information faster than you. As the machine handles the execution of tasks, the true currency of the future is going to be distinctly human. The blueprint for a truly future-proof cognitive architecture relies on synthesis, systems thinking, cultivated wisdom, the ability to hold ambiguity, and critical judgment. These traits become infinitely more irreplaceable precisely as everything else gets automated. This, right here, is where we need to be investing our time and energy. I really want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to turn over in your mind. If we have successfully conquered information scarcity, what vital part of your cognitive architecture are you letting slip away? If we have more information, more intelligence, and more tools than any generation in history, what exactly is still missing? Don't let the machines do the thinking for you. Reclaim your judgment, protect your focus, and start building the cognitive architecture that actually matters. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.